Good morning, folks. Well, I hope you got some sleep despite the fact that we started off your Monday with a little bit of a jolt. About to 50 this morning, we had a 4.3 earthquake. Some reports earlier this morning from the US Geological Survey suggesting it might have been a 4.6, but that's been downgraded now to 4.3. But it definitely jarred a lot of people awake. Many of us here at the news station felt it pretty strongly in Oakland. And then reports came flooding in over social media of people in the East Bay, parts of San Francisco, all the way out to the peninsula, even South Bay feeling pretty strong shaking, so it seems like it was pretty widely felt. And this comes just 2 days after the anniversary of the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. So what was it like? We want to get you the latest. Let's go straight to our chief meteorologist, who is tracking this for us. You were sound asleep, and then bam, you're up. What was it like? Well, I was sound asleep. My wife wasn't. She said she felt it. I didn't feel it. But my phone started blowing up with text messages from viewers asking if I was okay. Of course, I'm okay. And then I started looking at the data, and it looks like the epicenter was very close to the Hayward Fault. It was felt all the way up in Sacramento, down towards Gilroy, and over towards Truckee. People are still reporting on our app that they felt it over in Tahoe. So yeah, it was felt all over. And now the question is, was that the Hayward Fault? I think so, but we don't know 100%. They're still investigating, but it was definitely on the eastern end of the Bay Area. Folks, let me show you the map. This is a map of the Bay Area. You can see the different faults out here. And you'll notice right along here is the Hayward Fault. We had another 4.0 earthquake right in this general vicinity about 4 years ago, 2018, and that one was felt quite widely as well. Felt it in my house here in Oakland. And of course, this is not a map that shows the actual strength of the shaking. But in general, what we would expect to see is the closer you are to the epicenter, the stronger the shaking would have been. This is a map that shows the intensity of the shaking. And as you can see, we have yellow, then we have orange, which means strong shaking. And then we have the red, which is violent shaking. Now, these darker colors are only based on a few reports, so take that with a grain of salt. I think the shaking was a little bit stronger than this map indicates, but nonetheless, that gives you an idea. You can see the epicenter right there in the middle of Berkeley. And then the shaking fanned out from there. I think it was a little bit stronger in the East Bay, maybe than what's being indicated here. But the big question, why did we have this earthquake? Well, this area is long overdue for a bigger earthquake. We've been talking about this for years. It's overdue. And I think that's why we had the 4.3 earthquake, and this is not unusual to have foreshocks. You know, before bigger earthquakes, we often see foreshocks. So could this be a foreshock to something bigger? Well, there is a little bit of evidence for that. But I really don't think there's any evidence of a massive earthquake coming, like a magnitude 7.9 earthquake, the big one that everybody's concerned about. No, I don't see any signs of that, but could there be another earthquake in the next day or two? Yes, there's always that possibility. Anytime you have an earthquake of this size, you have the possibility of aftershocks. In fact, I looked at the statistics right now. It's to 56 in the morning. This earthquake struck at to 56 this morning. And within the first week, there's about an 18% chance of another earthquake greater than 3.0. Now, that drops off quickly. After a week, it's 2%, and after a month, it's less than 1%. But yes, there will be aftershocks. The big question is, will they be larger or smaller than the main shock? And we really won't know until it happens. But I can tell you this, anytime you have an earthquake of this size, there is the potential for larger aftershocks. You know, we're due for a bigger earthquake on the Hayward Fault. We've been saying that for years. The last big one was 1868, almost 150 years ago. And we know that because it's written into the state law. Every time the legislature meets, they have to. They're reminded that 1868 is the year of the last big earthquake on the Hayward Fault, so we know that this fault can produce very big earthquakes. And you know, we've been talking about this for years. It's overdue for a big earthquake. This is not to say that it's going to happen tomorrow or next week or next month. All we know is that it's due, and that could mean due in 10 years or due in 30 years. We do not know exactly what that means, but all the signs right now are that we overdue. So does this mean that the shaking this morning was a foreshock to a bigger earthquake? Could be. Again, we just don't know until it happens. But I think the thing to remember is that every earthquake that we have is a reminder that we overdue for a bigger one. So hopefully, this isn't a precursor to something bigger. I don't see any signs of that, but we'll continue to monitor it. You should always be prepared for another earthquake. I think all of us probably slept through this one, most of us anyway. But make sure you have your emergency kit, you have a plan. If you have kids, make sure they know what to do and where to go if an earthquake strikes during school hours. Make sure you have a communication plan with your family. All those things you need to do whether there's a small earthquake or a big earthquake. So don't sleep through your alarms. Don't assume that a small earthquake means that the big one is not coming. All it means is that the big one is still out there. Still out there. We'll continue to track this for you. And if we get any new information, we'll put it right here on our channel. And of course, our website, kqed.org/news, 24/7 on your television sets as well. We're here for you. Stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.